All right, let's start with a few data points to set the mood. So we haven't seen mortgage demand fall to this level since 1994. We see new home sales median price has now dropped about 18% year over year at the fastest pace that we've seen since 1970, about 50 years ago. And then today we see that the pending home sales have collapsed to a level that we haven't seen since 2001. So just a few data points, but what does the real estate industry want to pick up on? Existing home sales are up 3% year over year. So there's a few data points that we got to decode here in today's session. But before we get into the real estate, I want to cover the current events. We got to take a look at the markets, and then we'll get into the data decode for real estate. Let's take a look at it, folks. So starting off here, we do see that gold may not have hit a new record high today, but it did manage its highest monthly close ever. In fact, this is the first time in history that gold ended a month above 2,000 per ounce. This is a significant milestone and likely indicates that much higher prices are coming soon from Peter Schiff. Let's take a look at it, folks. This is our gold chart. And if you recall, I've been referencing this point right here in 2003 when the ETF got approved and gold ran up 500%. Silver did a 10x, it went up 1,000%. But if we see this level right here and the monthly close coming in above 2,000, the highest monthly close ever, we truly are entering into price discovery for gold, and we have a lot of catching up to do for silver. Take a look at it. So during that same time after the ETF got approved for gold, in 2006, one got approved for silver, and we did a 10x, 1,069% for your silver. So silver has a lot of catching up to do here, tapping off of $25 per ounce, basically up to 25 and a half. And we've been warning folks, while it's under 25, while it's under 30. I remember picking some up last year, back when I was paying, over $25 per ounce after my premium was paid. And I was just happy as a clam to be picking up. And here we are still picking up at $25. Silver has a long ways to catch up. Now, we take a look here at Bitcoin. It does look like the bulls are back in control and the bull run is on, but you know what we're preparing for over here. Black swan events, election cycle, simulation events. I think that it's flu season once again, it sounds like. So who knows what they have in store for us, but we're watching it closely. Bitcoin closing off the month above 37,000. Good strength for all of crypto with ETH back above 2,000 and XRP still at 60 cents. Watching it close. Big levels to break for XRP, remaining patient. Now, the DXY just had one of its biggest drops on a monthly basis in a very long time since last year, right? And these drops right here, right, is a shift. The dollar ran up here in 2022 because the Fed was raising rates at the fastest pace in history. Now that they've gone soft, now that the Fed pivot is here, we're starting to see gold run, we're seeing oil run, we're seeing Bitcoin and cryptos run, right? And so this is a situation that's very fluid. It's still moving. And the data confirms to us, though, that they're going to have to keep the rates higher for longer if they want to tame this inflation. Today, we get the core PCE, which fell to 3.5% in line with expectations, but it is still well above the Fed's 2% target level. So the preferred inflation metric falls to 3% October PCE, but then you look at core PCE, still at 3.5%, well above the 2% target. So no matter how many different ways they look at this thing, inflation's still running hot. We know they're lying about it anyways. But if they want to keep this thing tamed and they don't want to see inflation come roaring back, well, then they're going to have to keep those rates higher for longer. And the problem is, too, is that that dollar index is already fallen off, too. And as that thing falls off, we're having to pay more money for our oil, for our gas, for our energy, for the things that actually matter, which is no problem for them. They'll just delete it off of that data point and they'll figure out a new way to calculate the CPI lie, the core PCE, the super core, which strips out food, energy, used cars, everything, right? And so it's an absolute joke, but you are already seeing, and this is something that I'm not going to stand in the way of. If they want to go pivot, if they want to turn back on the money printer, they're going to wait for a black swan event to occur, and that'll be their excuse. Turn back on the money printer, stimulus, flood the streets with money again, and everybody feel good during this election cycle. That's the plan. That's what I think's in store for us. but without a doubt, they've already gone dovish. I'm not going to stand in the way. My bags are already packed. You want to pump gold, silver, and XRP? Sounds like a good time to me. And so let's take a look here. You are seeing it. Fed Williams says interest rates are at or near peak. So we got another Fed speaker came out here today, and you can see that they're already going dovish. He says, my assessment is that we are at or near the peak level of the target range of the federal funds rate, Williams said in a speech to the Bretton Woods Committee conference in New York. So he says that the Fed interest rate policy is quite restrictive, meaning it is slowing down the economy. Indeed, it is estimated to be the most restrictive in 25 years. That's what it took, rug pulling Main Street, to bring down inflation. And they don't care about Main Street or you getting sacrificed in the middle of that. And in fact, they're touting these great job numbers. The unemployment has come down, right? Well, what's happening? Folks are having to go get a second and third job. Now, the problem is we're seeing jobless claims just ticked up higher in the last week, reaching levels that we haven't seen in 2 years. Not good. Take a look at this data point that came out here today as well. Jobless claims tick higher in latest week, reaching the highest level in 2 years. So they rose by 7,000 to 218,000 in the week ending November 25th, the Labor Department said Thursday. Economists polled by the Wall Street Journal had estimated new claims would rise by 11,000 to 220,000. So, we beat those expectations. That's good. Everyone's happy, right? But you got to look at the details. Key details. I'm glad that they mentioned that right there. Key details. The number of people already collecting jobless benefits in the week ending November 18th rose by 86,000 to 1.927 million. That's the highest level since 2021. So folks are struggling now, and it's taking them longer to get a new job. See, the jobless claims, these are people that are still actively trying to get a job here, and they can't get one. And so they're remaining with the jobless claims for longer, and that has risen now back above 1.9 million people making jobless claims right now. So clearly, as the Fed just said, their policy was restrictive. And what that means, right, as I've been saying, progress for Powell, progress for the suits is pain for Main Street, is jobless claims going up. And they've been trying to paper over the unemployment data, and they're doing everything that they can to make folks feel warm and fuzzy at home. But the problem is that we're seeing pending home sales have now collapsed to a record low level that we haven't seen since 2001. Let's get right on into this data point real quick. All right, so we get this update today on the real estate situation. Pending home sales index drops to record low level in October. Index falls 1.5% as mortgage rates soared. So the pending home sales by 1.5% to a record low, reading 71.4 in October, according to the monthly index released by the NAR, National Association of Realtors. This is the lowest level since the index was started in 2001. So the lowest level we've ever had since we started tracking this data in 2001, and economists were expecting pending home sales to fall 2% in October, according to a survey by Wall Street Journal. So we didn't fall 2%, we only fell by 1.5%. But as you can see, over the past year, pending transactions were down 8.5%. As I started out this episode by saying, we just had new home sale median price collapse by about 18% to a level and a pace that we haven't seen since the 1970s. When you look at mortgage demand, it's fallen to a level that we haven't seen since 1994. Now, if you are living in a neighborhood, if you're living in an area where your price is still going up, as we're seeing, existing home sales are up 3%. But that's a very specific data point, a very small segment of the real estate asset class. And so that's why I don't try to cherry pick data points to confirm my narrative. And I call out folks that are cherry picking data points like that to say that home prices are going up across the board. Everyone should be happy. That's not the case. We are seeing markets like Austin, Texas, where the average price is actually down about 18%. So it's actually near a crash. It's near, a bear market as far as the home price in Austin. You look at markets like Boise, Idaho, down over 10%. And so you can go across the country. You can cherry pick markets that are still up. When you look at the Case-Shiller index, that's how they're reporting that existing home prices are up by 3%, is they're pulling that from the Case-Shiller index, which is only an index of the top 20 metro markets here throughout the country. So it's a very interesting point here to consider. We're seeing real estate start to slow down. For me and my community, I continue to remain patient, but we're talking about the portfolio in real estate. It's time to build it out. It's time to get ready, build out those relationships, because after we take our gains from XRP, after we take maybe some gains from some silver, as we've been talking about these assets getting ready to break out, we look towards the real estate asset class as an opportunity to really put some value away, some wealth tucked away to pass on down to the children, as my daughter just pulled up on me, and it's about time for me to wrap up this session anyways. So I will see you guys in the next one. Please just go to my website, zachrector.com, and you will find all of our community resources, and I will see you guys in the next one. God bless you all.